All right, we are taking a look at Retro Revenge, Inside Out, and I am joined by, do you prefer Ari or Arihan?
Arihan.
Arihan? Okay, well, thank you for joining me on the stream. What would you describe as your role on this project? Is this a solo project?
Yeah, it's a solo project.
Okay, nice. And if you can tell us a little bit about your background in game development?
Sure. So I've been developing games for about 4 years now, just participating in a variety of game jams and competitions around Canada. This is one of the few online game jams I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's opening on my it's opening on the
Other
wrong
screen.
screen. Yeah.
Right. Press. I think it's Windows Shift and left arrow to move.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that would work. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've used that shortcut before. I literally did not know that it would work on a full screen application like that.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, let me just turn that down a bit. Sound check. Okay, that's not too loud. Cool. All right. Sorry for the last second calibrations there.
No problem.
Yeah. So you were saying this is one of the first online jams you participated in?
Well, it's one of the few online jams I've participated in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I participate in competitions around Canada.
Okay. So we're trying to block the. Oh wow! Okay, this is very rapidly paced.
Yeah.
So which kind of online? Sorry, which kind of non-online games do you participate in then?
So, for example, there's the Ontario Game Making Competition.
Yeah.
It gets a bunch of high schools from across Canada every year. I think this year is like 87 high schools or something. And
Wow.
the World Vision Game Making Contest, just things like that.
Oh my goodness, this is very difficult, or I'm not understanding how to play it correctly.
Yeah, no, it is quite difficult. It's one of the regrets about this. I neglected to actually playtest the game because I'm not used to developing things so quickly.
Gotcha. So are most of the game jams that you've participated in take a little bit longer to play through, or not
Yeah,
play through, but
like around 3 weeks to 2 months is the general range I've seen.
okay, yeah, wow. So the 48-hour jams are super intense.
Yeah, for sure. Like I don't think I definitely missed a few meals. There was no sleep during the jam, but that's part of the experience, right?
Oh, I can't seem to place. Oh wait, do you have to place? What influences whether a tower can or a platform can or
I
cannot be
think I think
placed?
it's actually bugged out. You might need to press the button again if you delete an object.
Okay,
Yeah, my
let's
bad.
try and put that there. Let's try to launch all the missiles. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god.
Well, let's see. I'll do my best to keep playing through here. But in the meantime, can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the game?
Sure. So have you heard of this game called Kick the Buddy? I think it is. So
Um, I've seen games
maybe
like
not. It's like this mobile game
okay,
where there's this kind of ragdoll character that you. Oh my god, I've never seen that before. Just abusing the AI over here. But it's this ragdoll game where this ragdoll is trying to run away from you, and
okay,
you must try to kill it with some traps. So I was thinking, what if it's the same concept, but instead it's an AI in a platformer, and you're trying to prevent the AI or the player from reaching the end of the platformer. So you're kind of the arcade machine yourself, as opposed to the player. That's the role reversal. So initially it was meant to be like a ninja that was running around, but I realized calculating physics for how it would jump from platform to platform would be a bit complex. So I just implemented some Dijkstra's pathfinding algorithms instead.
oh wow. So it's actually using a pathfinding algorithm to make its way to the end.
Yeah, it's using a pathfinding algorithm, and then I trained a mini neural net because you see, when you place a vertical platform in front of the exit, then obviously
Yeah.
there is no way to pathfind. So the AI just goes, okay, what do I do now? Okay, it relies on the neural net trained with the TensorFlow. It's kind of running a server in the background. to see, okay, which platform should I attack, where should I move to give me the optimal chance of like surviving the missiles, for example. When you see the missile, you can see it trying to run away from there. That's the neural network, and it like temporarily disables the pathfinding. But there's an issue with that. You can see when there are missiles and it's dodging them, it's like running into the platforms. Because without the Dijkstra's algorithm, it doesn't know to not run into the platforms, right?
So is there like, do you? Oh, okay. So every time you launch a missile, you only get 0.9 kilobytes back after it's destroyed. So that's why
you don't get the full amount, because otherwise, I was thinking somebody could just spam the missiles.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what you're doing. Actually, it wasn't very effective.
All right. So that's it's quite impressive that like some of the technology that's actually going under the hood here. Have you thought about making a like a devlog or something to like, showcase some of the technology that's running here?
No, not really. I'm not too comfortable with devlogs and the concept of just putting my development process out there. But some hackathons I was looking at, they do require you to have some sort of devlog cataloging your development process for a project. So I might do that. Not for this game though. I think it's quite rough. Which you can see, the AI is pretty buggy. It's like running into platforms everywhere and these kind of things.
Come on, buddy, you can do it. You can make it. I literally can't. I can't. Well, there we go. Finally. Yeah, I mean, it's I've tried making a few devlogs myself, and I haven't always found that people necessarily check them out. Like, I wouldn't. I guess I would say that if there's something that you are proud of, that you think it's cool, that you want to show off, then it might be worth making, but don't make it with the intention of, oh, this will get so many clicks or views, you know? It's just it's a matter of the mindset you go into it with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for a game like this, devlog would not be well suited. I usually delve into kind of network games, so I created my own custom layer on top of Steamworks for like TCP and UDP networking. That's something that I would be willing to create a devlog for, if there would be interest for it. There are a lot already. Have you heard of Tom Weiland?
I'm not familiar with that one, no.
He's a developer that developed his own framework for TCP UDP networking called Riptide. He makes awesome devlogs if you ever want to get into networking. So something like that would be fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of I don't know about networking just in general. Most of the games that I make are just like local. They don't use any online components, so
yeah.
Anything that is kind of a networked game is sort of a mystery to me.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can try to use a laser successfully here. Come on.
Definitely gonna break the platform, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if it's actually...
I don't know why it isn't breaking the platform. That's a bit weird. But to be fair, like I think in recent years, the collision system now it's the AI kicking in, because it's like, okay, I've been trying to find a path, but I can't. So it's just trying to destroy the lasers. But I think in recent years, the physics engine or the version of it that Unity is using has become really bad for collision detection, like discrete collision detection and the speculative collision detection. It's running it in the fixed update, but fixed update only triggers once for each script. So if you're already putting some code in a fixed update, then oftentimes the speculative collision detection will simply not run on an object. I think that may be what's happening here.
Interesting. Yeah, because it sounds like the kind of things that speedrunners often exploit, where they just
yeah, exactly.
try to like build up a bunch of lag in the game and then move, and the game is so laggy at that point that it just you skip past something.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if you were to try to block the AI and then throw a bomb, it would simply exit the map because once again the speculative collision detection is failing.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember you were saying that, well, I read on the itch.io page at least that there is a... There we go. It's OP to build a laser gun and guard it with a tower.
Right.
Which one of these is the tower, though?
So by tower, I was writing that in a bit of a rush. The tower is just a vertical platform.
Okay.
So I think if you put the laser gun in the top left, so you block the exit with the vertical, like 1 or 2 vertical platforms.
Yeah.
Then you place a few vertical platforms in front of the laser gun. I've noticed it becomes quite easy to destroy the AI with that. So right now it seems like it's just trying to kill it. Yeah, that's why I said like protecting it with the platforms. Otherwise, it will simply destroy them.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you could. The laser would fire through the platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else told that to me as well. Right now, it seems I forgot to put the platforms on a separate layer. So the AI is trying to chase the platform as well.
It's trying to. Oh, okay. Well, here. Come on, buddy. All right. So, can you talk a little bit about your development process for the game? Like you mentioned, some of the advanced technology, the tensor. My goodness, some of the AI terms I'm not even familiar with. TensorFlow.
Right. Yeah. TensorFlow. It's a very popular library for Python for doing AI stuff. Makes it very simple, so you don't need to have any experience in advance. But my biggest. So I spent the first 24 hours of the jam working on the core mechanics, like placing down the objects and kind of finishing all of the abilities. Then I spent the last 24 hours of the jam, which is the next day, just trying to build out the AI itself. And originally, I told you I was using a Ninja for the AI that was kind of jumping from platform to platform. And that's why you actually see those 3 blue platforms. Because I was like, okay, if the player as in you, neglects to put on the platforms, then the AI won't have a way to get to the exit. So I put these platforms in the middle that are basically indestructible. But I realized that the physics system is too unreliable to be doing that. Like I would calculate, okay, it is possible to jump from X platform to Y platform, but sometimes it would simply fail the jump because if the frame rate is dropping, then the physics system functions fundamentally differently. Also, it isn't deterministic, right?
Right.
So that's why around 12 hours away from the deadline, I had to switch from the Ninja to this Dijkstra/A-Star Pathfinder AI, which is why it's quite wonky. If I had more time, perhaps it would be better.
Yeah, I've messed around with AI that can jump before between platforms, but the only way that I did that was to have it collide with something at the edge of a platform that would tell it these are the valid jumps that you can make, and then it would just sort of choose between them. So it was jumping on predetermined arcs.
That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, it was jumping on predetermined arcs. So it wasn't saying, okay, these are the platforms near me. Let me calculate the trajectory I need to jump onto. There were some predetermined arcs.
Yeah. Because you can imagine if you're looking at this screen, for example.
Yeah.
Just bring it into.
So then the platforms must be on a uniform distance from each other, right? They can't be like at an arbitrary distance from each other.
No, not necessarily. So if I zoom in here, and if I just draw maybe a little smaller stickman here.
Thank you so much, Gromi Mommy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would just put a little invisible collider here.
Right.
And then when the AI bumped into that, then it would say, okay, from this point, you can either jump up to here, and that's one, or you can jump down to here, and that is the other possibility. So,
yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do. But some reason it was failing. Maybe it's just my own lack of experience with the Unity physics engine.
Well, but that's what I'm trying to say though, is I didn't. First of all, I wasn't using Unity. Second of all, I wasn't using
Oh, I see.
physics. All I did was I used mathematics to say it is X many. Here's your X distance. Here's your Y distance.
Right.
And then
you use the kinematics equations to be like, okay, this is the
Yeah,
trajectory that it must take.
and they jump on a somewhat believable arc. They definitely like hover in the air. It doesn't necessarily look like gravity, like an actual gravitational. Not in the way that the physics applies to the player, but it was enough to make it look like they were jumping between things. So, yeah, just a sort of way to sidestep the problem.
Right, yeah. Then I can see it being used. See, the issue that I was describing in mind was the actual Unity physics system was non-deterministic. So sometimes it would make the jump, but with the same parameters, sometimes it would not make the jump. And I decided that was too unreliable for the project. Yeah, what you're doing is definitely really interesting. May I ask why you needed an AI in the game that could jump platforms?
Oh, well, here, I think it's probably easiest to just show you what the game is and the context of it. So, that's not what I meant. Search. Fortress. So it's a Mega Man style 2D action platformer game. So if I had a boss character like this in this arena, like the players up here, this is a the enemy had the ability to attack using these like laser, like it would swipe this laser beam and it would send a beam towards the player, but it would also try to pathfind, like jump from here to attack the player directly. So from here, the boss, when touching this point, could either jump up here to attack the player, or jump down here and run over to the other side, jump up here, jump up here. So
wow, that's really interesting. Did you develop this by yourself, or
I did the programming for the game, and I worked together with another artist to do the like actual visuals for the game, and the one of the bosses in the game doesn't use this code. It just has like a jetpack on, so it flies around. And the programming for that boss, I had somebody else help me out with that.
I see. That sounds really interesting.
So
this was developed in what engine?
This was made with GameMaker.
Oh, okay.
The original GameMaker Studio version 1.4, not the version. Well, it used to be called GameMaker 2, and now it's just GameMaker. Like they sort of stopped calling it GameMaker Studio 2. It's just whatever. So anyway, yeah, it's the old-fashioned version. It's the game engine that I'm still using to make jam games to this day, because I just don't like using the new version of GameMaker. So everything that all my jam projects that I've made recently, actually the better view for that is this. Here we go. So Goat Boss, Worlds Within Worlds, last year's GMTK Jam, the Zelda 2 style stab several skeletons that Goat Boss is the boss battle for. Yeah, all of these are made with GameMaker, and yeah, it's just I work with Unity. Sorry?
I said that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I use Unity as for my day job, but Turtle, just to clarify, like I am playing games that are not from the GMTK Jam, but you can just, if you have two games to show me, then submit them both separately, and consider that other people kind of want to get their jam games played within the rating period, so it might be better if they aren't games that you are in a hurry to show off, that maybe allow other people, like pick the one you want to show me most, okay? If that sounds good. All right, so what was the most difficult problem that you encountered during the jam, and what was your solution? I feel like we might have already touched on that a bit.
Yeah, like as I was discussing earlier, it was definitely the AI, because if you block the path for the AI, there's not much it can do beyond either trying to attack the different items on screen and just trying to evade the missiles. And obviously, like I said, about 12 hours before the jam, I had to change the entire system for my AI, which was quite costly because I want, like, as you can see, you had a lot of trouble playing the game at first because there isn't a clearly defined set of instructions within the game itself. And even the tooltips are quite bare bones. Like you did. Oh.
I think I found a completely by accident.
My God. That's interesting. Yeah. So see, I think that was because
yeah,
the
you
path
can just
was
do
blocked.
that.
Well, it's gonna break it at some point.
It
So I
did,
think
yeah.
if you just left it there, it would just break the platform. Oh, yeah, like that. But it's interesting. I thought I circumvented that. Like you could not place it on the AI, but I guess not. But yeah, most difficult thing, just creating the AI and getting it to pathfind correctly, even when the path was blocked. Because the TensorFlow library I was using, you need some input, right? You need some set of data to train it on. And that set of data was me creating a sample Unity project, just having the same abilities, firing at random, and then I would play as the character myself, like flying around in the scene. Then I would simply match each ability, the timestamp of when it was used, when it hit some key points within the ability, to where I was on screen, and then I would try to get the AI to do the same. But it was a very bare bones amount of data. I think at the end it came out to be like 3 hours of me playing, which is very minimal. Like to train a good AI, you must have days and days of
which you don't have the time for at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I don't think I have the motivation to play this very bare bones games for days on end.
So I'm just going to quickly show you something just while we're on the topic of discussing AI. One of the other ways that I was able to cheat for my own jam game here, because you play as the boss in this game and you are trying to defeat this AI character here. That is the hero from the previous game. And I do want to do like a more in-depth video that actually explains how this works. But one thing that just the very basic way that this works is the character has a minimum and a maximum distance that it's going to try to stand from the goat. Like it will try to move close enough that it can strike it, but not so close that it's in danger of being jumped on. Then when the goat initiates a jump, what happens is I place 2 invisible markers on either side of the pole, and the AI will pathfind to whichever one of those is closer. So that way it knows, like, oh, he's jumping over me, I should run past him to the far side to be safe, or I should back up so that I'm safe.
That's really smart. So it's both taking advantage of the jump to reposition itself and also saving itself from the attack itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this kind of problem solving is what I find really interesting about logic-based AI. Because like you noted the specifics of your own game and you were like, how can I enhance the AI gameplay?
Exactly, because it was just this idea that rather than developing an actual like trained AI the way that you're describing, I thought I could get away with something that plays pretty well, but is just based on the incredibly limited moveset that the player has. Like this is the kind of AI that I would expect could probably run on an NES, no problem. Like like the original Zelda 2 game that it's based off of.
Yeah. Like, I think this is a very good use case of that thinking here because, like you noted, it's a limited moveset, right? So you have to program a limited amount of logic. For something like my game where you had, 6 abilities and they could be firing in different permutations and combinations, I don't think it would be viable to try to train a logic-based AI. Or maybe it would. I don't have the problem-solving mindset for this, I think.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, if I were to look at what's going on here, I mean, you definitely need some kind of pathfinding algorithm because of the ability to actually place walls into the environment. So there's no getting around that. For the missile launching, I would probably do something where I create like a negative gravitational, like a repulsion field, so that the central point just kind of says like go away from here. And that way, if you treat it as like a gravitational force, you can sum up multiple gravitational points so that it's never like repelled from one into another. They can just all push it in a different direction.
So that logic could be extended, I think. Why not put that same gravitational repulsive force on the platforms itself? Because then you would kind of automate a pathfinding algorithm because the platforms themselves are pushing it away. And then you could have some gravitational force that's attracting it towards the exit.
Yeah, it definitely that could work, but I would just be worried about a potential where it could get stuck in some sort of edge case where, like, if there's a here, I'll just pull this into Paint again.
Right.
Oh, I think I closed Paint, but let's play again and screenshot this, open in Paint. So if the player did something where, let's draw like a really thick line here. So if you just did something like this, then you're kind of hoping that the gravity repels it this way, and that eventually it would find its way around towards this. Like if there's something, but the problem is if there's a force that's pulling it in this direction, even though these two forces are repelling it this way and this way, then it might just get stuck. Because
of course.
There's a force.
Yeah. It's a very rough estimation of pathfinding. But you're right. It would get stuck in a lot of edge cases.
So that's why I think you would probably need a basic pathfinding just to underscore it, and then from there you could layer on other things like the laser firing. You just like 1 second before the laser fires, you just generate an invisible collision volume that also pushes the player out of that spot. Similar thing with a grenade. There's probably no direct way to have it react to the repulsive force. I mean, it's basically already doing that. It is already like repelling the player. So I think you might be able to tell it if it's being repelled, but it can't go past it in the direction it wants to, then try to move perpendicular to the direction that it's being pushed away, because that will help it sort of like get around it.
Yeah, for sure. Like even right now, it's using Dijkstra's, and the graph is represented as all of the objects that are in the scene. Mm-hmm. And when you do put a laser, it counts the laser as being a set of nodes that are connected consecutively. And it kind of tries to travel in between the leaves of the graph. So it's somewhat similar, but not using the same geometric logic.
Yeah. So this is the great thing about me not being a very good programmer, is that I have to use like clever tricks to approximate what I want, which sometimes yields these, like, I'm not going to call them simple solutions, but it's just a sort of like roundabout way of using small and more simple pieces to achieve a more complex whole.
Right.
Then it's not very general purpose. Like the AI that I write for one character will fail for a different character that has like a different jump height or movement speed because it's not using the parameters correctly. Like it can't adapt.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of heuristic what you're saying, right? You're finding the best optimization at every level and then just summing it up.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think we can move on to our sort of final question here, which is, do you have any plans for this game going forward?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If I do move forward, I would definitely prefer to build a different game. Perhaps I would like to use this AI system in the future if I was able to work on it more. But for now, I think I'm gonna focus on building more network games.
Cool.
Like I'm trying to build a game for the Android Play Store, something like that. Right.
Yeah, as Lobsterkovic, I think that's sort of come up earlier, is that the Unity's physics system is not, in fact, deterministic. That it's part of the problem, like why these solutions don't work. And that's why I just don't use physics simulations in my games for the most part, because of the fact that they're not deterministic, and I want results that are deterministic.
Yeah, so like I remember at one point, I actually for a competition, this was the Canadian game making competition. I actually published a network game that had physics in it. Like you could blow up buildings, and then the chunks of the buildings would explode all over the map. Then you need to kind of get the chunks and rebuild them. And the issue was, as you noted, it's not a deterministic system. So I had to rebuild the physics system for it from the ground up using like Verlet integration and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was quite painful. I think out of the 2-month development time, that physics system took like 1 month of the time in and of itself.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't messed around with using Havoc in Unity, but clearly we should investigate that if you want to have a deterministic physics system, as Lobsterkovic is suggesting.
Yeah, for sure. What is Havoc?
Oh, Havoc is a different physics system. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. And also, hello to Zero Iguana. I'd say the jamming session is going well. We're having some cool conversations. We are right now playing Retro Revenge Inside Out. I'll share the link to that one more time. And I think that's a good place to ask, is there any other projects that you would like to draw people's attention to, or social media channels that you would like them to follow?
Not right now, but if I do publish one in the future, I'll come on the stream again and see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, for now, I'll just drop a link to your itch.io profile so you can check that out. And if anyone else is looking to submit their games, I just dropped a link to the submission form in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the call. I think it's been a fun conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye for now.
Bye.